Hello, welcome to another episode of playing Crusader Kings 3 using the hardest possible rule set, starting in 867 as a stewardship-focused landless adventurer. Uh, we've been playing for several decades now, but we're still on our original character, who had started as a landless adventurer, championed the actually I guess he did not champion the Dutch culture. He has took over uh, a Dutch duchy. From there, created the kingdom of Frisia, and we've expanded a bit into West Francia here, partly because Neustria, this duchy here, was ruled by a quite weak child ruler, so gave us an in, and we've been taking over some other duchies. We are a vassal of Germania. Germania was originally founded by Jarl Sigurdur Snake in the Eye, the guy who starts here in this unpronounceable Sajaland, or ever it is possibly pronounced. Now one of his sons is ruling this quite large empire, and our plan is simply to expand underneath it. We've been conquering various duchies that are in West Francia. Here you can see the title has not been created, so that's something that we are looking at. We could probably increase our legitimacy a bit, and that would reduce the number of counties we would need to form the Kingdom of West Francia. Thank you for this one. These are all pretty good options. I think I'll take the learning experience. Then we'll hold court to try to get some more legitimacy. I think we'll go with this development gain. Not a lot of great options here, frankly. I guess we'll try this one, even though it's unlikely to succeed, but it did. Well, great. The Welsh. I don't really think the Welsh are... Do we even have any Welsh? I guess I should have checked whether we have any Welsh culture in our... Oh, I guess we have some Welsh here from... Well, that's not even... Even these aren't... Yeah, I mean, the counties themselves are French, even though the top liege of Britannia here, which is the neighboring Scourge conqueror, he is Welsh. But looks like he may have just taken over his brother who had ruled Wales. Unfortunate for him, but for us, we will continue on here. We are accumulating a quite large number of duchies, which I'm sure is angering our vassals. So we're looking here at some of our sons. We'll continue on. We may go after Braebrant. Valois here is nominally allied to Britannia, which of course would be very scary if Britannia were to actually aid them in a war. But the way Scourge Conquerors work, at least when the player is allied to them, is that the Scourge Conquerors will never join someone else's war. They have a negative 1,000 modifier to joining other people's wars. I'm assuming or hoping that applies to the AI as well. And so that Britannia will not, in fact, join a war if I attack Valois. If that turns out to be incorrect, then things are going to be very ugly. I think what I want to do here is attack Braebrant first, take them out of the equation, and then after that we will attack Valois. We have sanctioned loopholes, and so we can just use that to buy whatever claims we want. And this should be, I think, relatively easy. We're not allied to Bar, are we, or are we? They are allied to me. Okay, fine. We will raise our armies here and then just head in, I think. Now I guess we'll who are you? Yeah, you are the traitor. I have no interest in attacking our liege. Let's see here, at least currently, even with our armies raised, our income is quite fine. Do wonder what things will look like when this character finally dies and we have to play someone else. But at least for now, that is not our problem. Currently learning lifestyle. I wanted to go whole of body to try to extend this guy's life for as long as possible. He does have extremely strong stats from his time as a landless adventurer. And so the longer he lives, the better off we are. We'll try to marry our granddaughter to someone else who's intelligent. I think that's works. Matrilineal marriage. Our army is relatively strong here. Has some Varangian veterans, Huskarls, Retinue Vanguard. So we're really heavy on the heavy infantry. We do have an open regiment slot. So we're questioning what we want to fill that with. If we had heavy cavalry, that would certainly be an option, but we do not. May keep it open until we face a powerful enemy and then just build whatever the best counter would be. Here I wanted to come over and attack their armies since the army of Valois was sitting there. But again, more and more territory for our realm. And just, the question is Britannia really going to join if we attack Valois? Guess we'll do this. Get the hook, and we can take off sanctioned war declaration at least. I don't like my vassals to have sanctioned war declaration because leads them fighting among each other, which reduces control and potentially development, meaning we get less gold from them. Before, when we were trying to pay homage, our liege was uncrowned, and thus we would not get any renown for doing that. But it does look like he managed to hold a coronation at some point. I had wanted to attend, but I guess I missed it. Don't think the Mountaineer is helpful, but we will go down and pay homage to him, really for the sole reason to get some renown. You know, 50 renown, not bad. Because we are playing on the hardest difficulty, and specifically because we're playing on very hard, we only get a quarter of the amount for ransoms as compared to normal, and then it's rounded down. So on regular settings, if you would get 10 gold for a ransom, we get 2. Since a quarter of 10 is 2.5, and it gets rounded down, which means it's almost not worth ransoming people, but I still do it for that tiny amount of gold. Looking at what we can build here, given our character is extremely good steward. So I think now let's just attack Valois again. I'd be very surprised if, I'd be at least somewhat surprised, I should say, if Britannia joined in. If they do, then it sucks to be us. We made a mistake. Not much more to say about it, but I think we'll be okay. And then while that is going on, I want to host a grand tour, particularly through my French lands here. Don't need any additional luxuries or prestige. We have tons of prestige, really. Guess we can hire some mercenary guards to keep us safe, go a little bit faster. I think that's okay. One question I have here, yeah, so we could form a hybrid culture with French. You know, we only get plenary assemblies. I mean, it's okay. Let's just see what this would look like. I mean, the issue is that we have lots of good traditions in Dutch. I think 5 of them. So the question becomes, do we really? And then, you know, do we want to give away some of those traditions for, you know, what France has? And then beyond that, the question is, you know, currently we're limited to 6 cultural traditions. I'd like to get industrious in there, which would, you know, which would give us be the 6th one for the Dutch culture that we currently have. And so, you know, the question is, you know, what 5 of these would we pick if we were to hybridize our cultures? Or do we just forget about industriousness, you know, rely on the benefits we get to trade ports? I mean, it's you know, it's tough. And we don't have to make a decision on that now. We can just keep. Okay, that's a bit weird. Guess we'll grab these courtiers. At least so far, not seeing any indication that Britannia is joining. Looking for someone with good intelligence genetic trait. That girl will do. Hopefully we are sieging faster than they are. We are by a little bit close. I usually don't assault the fort. Because I don't want to lose. Oh, that's unfortunate. We lost our dog. Guess we'll have our tour become more avaricious. As soon as this siege is over, we are going to be attacking them. So I think I don't assault the fort because I just don't want to lose the men. It's important to have as many troops as you can in the best shape that they can be when you're playing at this level of difficulty. We're playing on very hard, and then of course we have scourge conquerors as well. Especially when you're fighting a scourge conqueror, You need your forces to be the absolute best that they possibly can. So we get Valois here. Yet another duchy title. So we're going to be splitting them quite a few. You know, we have 3 sons. You know, both of my second and third son are going to be getting quite a few titles. We could look into cutting down on those in terms of handing them out. I don't think they all, you know, need that many titles. Back payments. We'll just say we remember this. Don't want to give anyone a hook on us that they can use to negatively affect their contracts. Guess we can try that. Didn't work. And so we'll just be finishing out this grand tour. Should very easily max it out. Guess we'll just keep the secret. Quite advanced elder traits, but despite that, you know, still in good health. Huh. Okay. Thought I saw my liege attack, you know, someone else, and guess maybe he won that war almost immediately, and then returned to attack Britannia here. See how that goes. So I just really like monthly lifestyle experience, and so this, you know, third option is usually where I go with this. Yep. So we'll do here. Plus the rest of traders. Unfortunately, I'm too decrepit to fight them on my own anymore. So we'll have someone else arrest them. Okay. We'll get that genius little boy in a matrilineal betrothal. Works for me. I'll just avoid them because otherwise I'm almost certain to get wounded. Try to get more gold. Again, love gold. The more gold we can get, the better. We'll certainly conduct a census because we want more gold. One thing I wanted to look at was our our amenities. You know, these, you have 3 in book inspirations. They're, you know, only what are they? Yeah, very competent, so that's okay, but don't think we need to pay for those. Here, I do want some more inspirations, so I think we'll jack up our lodgings here, really improve them. Maybe some of these others as well. But we don't have many artifacts. Here we don't have any pedestal items, don't have any small wall ornaments, don't have any furniture, don't have a throne. So I really would like to get some guests to come by and help with those things. So normally I love doing the top option, but it's just the chances are so low. I love the top option because I love renown. Very difficult to get renown, and it's very powerful. But here, just the chances so remote, only 14%. It's just not worth doing. Not terribly surprising. We'll just move along. Likewise here, the chances of success aren't good, so we'll just avoid the likelihood of getting wounded. Let's see, looks like our liege did beat Britannia. Britannia is still a scourge conqueror though. If a scourge conqueror loses 3 wars, then they lose the scourge conqueror trait. At least generally, the CK3 wiki, I think it says it requires them to lose at least 3 wars. But in my experience, it seems like 3 wars is the magic number. See, Germania is expanding. That's probably a good sign. I generally don't compensate people for my pets. Happy to come closer to forming a friendship with this guy. What is this? Okay, so somehow this guy showed up in the middle of our realm. Shouldn't say our realm, our liege's realm, but the Scourge Conqueror. That's interesting. Hopefully our liege can handle that. Same thing, we'll just move along. We already have our tour success maxed out, so again looking for someone with good genetic traits in terms of intelligence. Looks like you are the one. Looks like the Bohemians are making an unfortunate amount of progress and attacking our liege. Probably because our liege's armies are over here, which is in Iberia instead of in the middle of Central Europe. So, a bit unfortunate. But the AI, particularly Scourge Conqueror AI, often does that. They wait until you're in a war on the other side of your realm and then attack you. I mean, frankly, it makes a lot of sense. As a player, I try to do that as well. It's just, just a smart thing to do, really. Is when the opponent's armies are raised somewhere away from where you want to attack, that's when you auto attack. So for that dynasty legacy, I really like getting the first three legacies from the blood tree. It's very powerful, especially starting in 867. That's a lot of time to develop those genetic traits in your dynasty and eventually get to being able to strengthen the bloodline, which is really one of the the primary goals there. What we could try to do is get enough territory for West Francia and put a elective succession title on it to try to keep it as part of our realm with Frisia. Just looking around here. So I do think I'd have to attack Burgundy. They've got a lot of troops. They don't have too much gold. What would counter them the best? I mean, individually, they don't have that much. I mean, I think would counter them the best is probably just heavy infantry, which is what we have. Just thinking about whether we want to attack Burgundy. I think there's no real choice. Could go after Upper Lotharingia first. Taking a look at what we could do to counter. Bondi are spearmen, so they're already going to be countered by all our heavy infantry, as with our pikemen. We'd have some horsemen. Maybe we just, buy the claim in the Duchy of Champagne and let it go. Could also hold a feast, and that hopefully would take us to level 4 legitimacy, which could reduce the number of counties we need to form West Francia. Are about to get leisures, which is good. It's 6 months. Plenary assemblies should be next. Yeah, I guess let's just do it. Let's just attack Burgundy. The plan will be to bring in some special mercenaries. Special mercenaries can be very powerful. They're usually less expensive, significantly less expensive than regular mercenaries, but you don't control them. So that's a significant drawback. They operate independently. But for this war, we will want to bring in all of our allies, whoever else we can get to come help us. Let's see if we can. I assume we can't call in a holy order. Oh, we can call in a holy order. Huh. Okay, sure, why not? And we'll call in these mercenaries, and I think that'll be enough. Certainly hope it'll be enough. See their army there. We'll figure out where it goes and go attack it after the siege is done. We'll hold a feast, partly to see if we can get our legitimacy up. Don't need prestige, but we do want opinion gain. Let's see, we are going to be attacking over a river, but I think we'll be okay, especially since he moved. Try to finish this siege, and then we will go attack these armies to our west. It's got ledger, which means we should be able to build quite a bit more. In particular, I want to make sure we have trade ports wherever we can, since we get a bunch of benefits from trade ports. If not trade ports, farms and fields is a good. Can we build a duchy building of any sort here? Not yet. That is our capital, right? Dokkum. So I think I want to build hospices there. Give us some plague protection. Just thinking about what we want to be fascinated by next. Looks like our enemies might join up. But we're here with our allies, so I think we will be okay. Probably, I think it would be hard to get them. Yeah, it'd be hard to catch them without absorbing some attrition, which I don't like doing. We're going to try to catch them here. They're running, which is usually a sign they know they're not going to win. Well, yeah, we did catch them. I'll pass on joining your war. I just expect you to join mine. Curious what's going on here. I guess these have a good martial commander. Pass on committing adultery. We'll take that. Again, we have very few good artifacts, so happy to take that one. The This is the last of their armies, so hopefully we can destroy them, and then we'll just continue on. Sell trivial titles, extort subjects, the other things that give us gold, because we love gold. Very important to get as much gold as we can. Again, our character is an architect, and so he's completed that middle tree for stewardship. So he's, the best character to build buildings that we could possibly have. So I want to use him for that. Valiant is good. That's what we would go with. Increased armory damage is great. Complete this siege. I think that should be end of the war in 3 days. And it is. Alright, I can create the Kingdom of Frisia. And we'll put an elective title on it, and hopefully we can have it come to our heir. The main concern here is going to be whether we're holding so many duchy titles that the other electors just refuse to vote for who we want. Okay, does look like our heir is currently getting West Francia, which is good. See if we get any other vassals. That might be the only one. Now we're really making quite a bit of gold. Brings up the question of where we want to expand to next. Aquitaine and Lotharingia look like the obvious examples. Brittany is actually independent, at least at the moment. See, Britannia's kind of scattered around here in Italy and Croatia. See, Germania is quite large. Just look around the map here. That is a massive Chola Empire. Yuan, they have less military strength than I would have guessed. I thought at one point they were led by a scourge conqueror, but no more. Oh, that is quite weak. All right. Oh, looks like you're going to be next. think these duchy titles inside of West Francia, we just don't need them. Just holding too many of them. I think it's time to give them away. And they're causing us quite significant penalties with our vassals, so I think we will well, so at the moment, someone else would get the title of France. That's obviously not good. Let's see what we can do to fix that. Don't want to give to a lowborn. All of you are quite terrible. Guess we can give it to you. Okay, we're back to West Francia, going to our heir, which is what we want. It does get a bit tricky to manage all these feudal elective titles. I mean, feudal elective really is the best way to keep your realm together. But at the same time, things can go wrong. Other people can get elected. So you have to be very careful when you have feudal elective titles. I think in particular you need to be careful when you don't own a lot of the domain counties in a territory. It seems especially likely for that territory to go to someone else, so it's really important to keep an eye on that. All right, who are the electors? All right, so if we convert some of these to Catholicism ought to make them more likely to vote for our candidate. And it also would make them significantly less likely to rebel. So, two reasons to get them to be Catholic. Okay, does that fix? Yes, at least for now. I have to keep going back and fixing it, but for now, France is going to our primary heir, our oldest son. All right. Yeah, so a lot of this is old, also true, or however one wants to pronounce it. That's not good. That is not good at all. Yep, that's just very bad. Hopefully our liege will be able to handle it. While we are looking at our religion of our vassals, let's convert those that are not Catholic. Unfortunately, this takes quite a bit of gold, but in the end, it's going to make our realm a lot more stable. These people will be much less likely to rebel against our heir. especially my direct vassals. I really want to be Catholic. Okay. I sort of think at some point that our liege is likely to convert to Catholicism and perhaps reform the Holy Roman Empire, but that hasn't happened yet, obviously. Yeah, I just don't think there's any way for us to defeat Britannia. One thing we should have been looking at is this kid, since he is the only son of our heir at the moment. So that's a mistake that we haven't done more with him so far. Hopefully our liege can get over here and stop this army. Really would rather not lose the entirety of France. It's not looking good, frankly. Don't see our lieges. Now they're way over here. That's not good at all. Well, okay. This is just something that happens when you're playing on the hardest difficulty level, that sometimes your liege lets you down and you lose a big chunk of territory that you've conquered. Not much to be done. I don't think we can take them on, so it does look like our liege is coming over, but I don't know. His troops seem to be starving. Could take a look at expanding a bit into Lotharingia here. Let's specifically buy a claim on Cologne. Hopefully that will make sure that we get it. We can attack them. We're probably going to lose sends, and really I'd like to have my domain more concentrated here, even getting into some of these counties, these Dutch counties that I'd be able to take if, at least potentially, if our vassals rebel. But I would also need plenary assemblies, I believe. Oh crap. Hopefully this works. Good. Okay. Obviously don't want to become incapable. It's a really terrible trait. So our lieges over here unsieging parts of France, so we'll have to see how that goes. Happy to get more feudal taxes. See some of the allies, the guy we're fighting, who just come in. Oh gosh. Guess we'll lose athletic. Don't want to die at the moment. Character is 81, so he's lived quite a long time. Attack this army. Our allies of our enemy here. There we go. I still don't get Cologne. Come on. I assume I can't revoke it because I don't have... Yeah. Alright, well... I could create Lotharingia here. But I think that's something I will consider for the next episode. So, obviously we made a lot of progress, at least temporarily, in getting France. We'll have to see if our liege can hold on to it for us and what happens. So it looks like Britannia lost the Scourge Conqueror trait. That should make our liege's job much easier. He still has a ton of mercenaries, but he's losing lots of gold. He's going to be in debt soon. It may be something that we can help out on. So, but the fact that he has lost the Scourge Conqueror trait is very good news for us. It opens up a lot of opportunities, including even to start trying to attack England if he's in civil wars, as he's in a civil war there. It looks like civil wars are significant because the standard rule is what's called guaranteed join, which is traditionally how CK3 worked, which is even if you're attacking a vassal, the ultimate overlord is who you're actually going to have to attack. So the entire army of the overall overlord is going to attack you if you're on guaranteed join. But if you're on conditional join, which is relatively new, you can attack a vassal without the ultimate overlord being able to intervene in the war. And for conditional join, it applies to all realms that are either above, I can't remember if it's 140 or 160, I think it's 140 realm size. And then also if there's a civil war, then conditional join applies. Maybe we can just look at it. So conditional join is, if the realm size is 160 or more, or if defending war leader in a civil war, then conditional join applies, basically meaning you can attack vassals without the ultimate liege overlord joining. So in other words, because of this civil war here, we could go and attack, say, grab the Duchy of Kent, and the Emperor of Britannia would not be able to intervene. So again, that is something we'll certainly be looking at, along with trying to defend our lands here in France and expanding Lotharingia. We'll look at all that next episode. Thanks very much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. I hope you will join me for the next episode. Thanks very much. Bye.